Peace and prosperity. This is Esaia Mystic coming to you with another message to help you free your heart and soul. Right now, I am talking about, and this is honestly an inspired topic because I have entered into spaces over the past, I think, week or 2 weeks, specifically on Clubhouse because I've been using Clubhouse lately. If you don't know what Clubhouse is, you're probably an Android user. Just kidding. But nah, Clubhouse is something that is currently only available to iPhone users. And now that I'm talking about it, I am hosting a room with another young woman like myself. Her name is Malika. She runs an online program, group coaching program. So she basically helps artists, healing artists who want to bring their creative gifts into fruition. And she also goes by Raw Fruit Goddess. And we are supposed to be doing a room together in Clubhouse this coming Sunday, and it's going to be residual. So I'm gonna put the link to that Clubhouse meet below. It's gonna be on Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So if you guys are interested in coming to that, make sure you hit the link, set a reminder, blah, 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 blah. The room is also going to be hosted by the Silas Cypher Sessions Clubhouse. And this clubhouse has a lot to do with, the awareness around mushrooms, psychedelics, and those kinds of things. So that is coming up in 4 days. And basically I've been in and out of Clubhouse spaces where there's been a lot of topics around relationships and how, these dynamics are being played out, how things are getting set up. And a lot of the topics have been centered around like gender roles, is chivalry dead? There was a room I went in talking about, is chivalry dead? And do women deserve chivalry? Another Clubhouse topic is marriage not an option because women are too easy? Another Clubhouse topic that I came across is how should we approach cheating? Should we cheat respectfully? What do we do about cheating? And honestly, you guys, aside from those Clubhouse rooms, I have also been a part of empowering Clubhouse rooms that actually empower people. So all in all, when it comes to masculine and feminine energy, I've talked about masculine and feminine energy a bit on my channel because it's something that I have been interested in and delving into on my spiritual journey and in my mysticism and passions. So the big thing that I keep coming to is people addressing masculine and feminine, yin and yang, and they're attaching it to man and woman, right? And this is something that honestly is natural for you to do because as a feminine woman, as a being, as a feminine body and as a masculine body, of course you're going to be seen as embodying that yin energy, feminine, or that yang energy, that masculine. So a lot of the topics and discussions with like the previous ones that I mentioned will converse and talk about masculine and feminine energy with this very kind of separate attitude, meaning how does one affect the other? How does the other affect, how does yin affect yang? How does yang affect yin? How do they mesh together? Things like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with having conversations around this. The problem, or I would say the dilemma, comes in when people take those energies, right? Those perceiving those energies the way they are, and they can't bring them together within their own energy. So, for example, even just in the topics that I mentioned, is chivalry dead? Is it do men not believe in marriage because women are so too easy? You know, just topics like, do women do women do this because men do this? Do men do this because women do this? Like, how do we understand who does what because of who? And what I need you guys to really understand and be able to see when you get into these atmospheres and environments is that these conversations it's not about union at all. Whenever you're getting into these types of discussions, it's not about union, it's about further discord, or I would say further separation. How, and you're probably like, why or how? Because obviously they're talking about the subject to get somewhere. Obviously they're bringing up the subject to have a better understanding into masculine and feminine energy. But you guys need to develop okay, a little bit more, because you got to be able to see when people, they might deep down, that might be what they want, but the way that they're going about it, they will not get that result. They will not get that outcome, because what they're doing is they're focusing on diverting or diverting their awareness onto the thing that basically they dislike about the opposite sex, or the thing that the opposite sex is doing wrong. Now, mind you, it is perfectly, like, you're supposed to be able to see what other people are doing and see how that reflects onto you. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you see what other people are doing and you just stay there and you're like, oh, you're doing this, and because you're doing this, this is, making me this way. It's kind of like actually a vibration of blame versus progression. And when I get into these relationship conversations, well, when I did get into them, and I'm just there in the environment, number one, I felt like I was the smartest person in the room. And number two, I felt like I needed to leave the room because I was the smartest person in the room. And this is because conversations around relationships should always be focused when you're gearing towards mending and actually cultivating good relationships, when you're cultivating balanced relationships. The conversation should always be geared towards the self, and how can I better myself? How can I balance myself? Not on, oh, well, it's because you're like this that things are like this, or it's because women are like this, or it's because men are like this. And it's like, no, how am I? And how is it that I am that is attracting this polarity? And that's all that it has to do with. That's all that it has to do with. And honestly, people are complicating things. People are complicating things just based on the premise of not understanding that simple reality. If you're not married, or you're not looking for marriage, or you're not interested in marriage, don't blame women and the fact that they're too easy. Take ownership of your own qualities, that you're not ready for marriage, and because of that, you keep attracting easy women. You keep attracting women who don't have any type of challenge, who don't really want a serious relationship, they just want to have fun, that's why you're attracting easy women. That's the only reason why you will ever attract easy women. Men who want to be married are going to attract women who want marriage. Men who value marriage are going to attract women who want marriage. Okay, and vice versa. And also, another thing that comes up so much when we get into these relationship conversations is, you know, how can women be more accountable? And I did a whole hour-long video about how women are not accountable for anything other than how they value themselves or how much self-worth that they have. That is the only thing a woman is accountable for. Everything else is just some stuff you making up, so you don't have to do that. You don't have to live up to whatever it is that you're looking to live up or you're wanting to experience in your life. It's not about, you know, what can other people do for me, or what can this person or that person, or what can the masculine do, or what can the feminine do. And even in the word do, you know, I'm not even going to use that word, like, because that's the vibration, y'all, specifically the masculine energy. I'm about to start pointing fingers now. And you can say that I'm blaming, but I'm not really blaming. I'm just calling it like it is. I'm just telling y'all. When you consistently look at a woman and say, what are you doing? She gonna say nothing, because it's not a feminine vibratory frequency to be in a doing state. Her vibrational frequency of balance is to be in a being state, and to be a certain way, to be who she is, to be, like, there's a whole difference. And if you don't know the difference between being and doing, being is having and emanating a vibration. So when you're being something, you're thinking a certain way, you're feeling a certain way, you're engaging in life a certain way, but you're not doing anything. When you're doing, it don't matter what you're thinking or you feeling or none of that. You just got up and you just went and did whatever you did. You could have got up and did whatever you did and be an asshole, excuse my French. You could be you know, a really good-hearted person. You could be, it doesn't matter who you be when you do something, right? And this is why men and I would say the, like, hierarchy of career, like the career system, is full of men that have done a lot of great things, but then curtains open and you be like, but he was this kind of person, but he was this kind of person, but, you know, even though he has all these achievements, who he was not, you know, really somebody that you want to be. But he did a lot of things. He did a lot of great things. You know, Martin Luther King cheated on his wife. He was a cheater, but he did a lot of great things, you know. So this is how that works. So honestly, I'm on here delving deeper into this yin and yang because I need you guys to understand that, yes, it is about understanding yourself in relationship to the opposite sex, in relationship to masculine if you're a woman and feminine if you're a man. But what you need to fully adopt before that can even really be delved into is that you are that yin and yang. You are that balance. You become that balance. You are that balance. You are the yin and the yang. And it's not about, how you can match up or how you can show up to that other side, but it's how you can merge those two energies and frequencies within your own self. And until you do that, until you accept that you have a feminine being within you, you have a masculine being within you, as a woman, as a man, then you will never really be able to mesh with and intertwine with the opposite sex. And you'll always be frustrated. You'll always be trying to blame, you know, really be able to see the frequencies that people are on when you get into these atmospheres, for real. Okay? If it's not an optimistic, you know, knowledge centered, you know, enthused, joyful, you know, if it's not that kind of vibe and it's oh, you know, blaming and irritated, frustrated type of frequency, then you need to get up out of there and you need to stop listening to these people, stop joining these groups, and get onto a frequency where people are actually entertained by knowledge instead of crazy stories that people have to tell. You know, these crazy dramatic experiences about how this person cheated on them and how you know, women do this and men do that. There is abundance of things that have happened on this realm, in this realm. There's so many things that have transpired. So the great thing about being here is you get to pick and choose which experiences and which things encompass your time and your life. And it's time for y'all to start getting picky about those types of things, because if you're not picky and you're just like willy-nilly, oh, I just want to experience everything, let me tell you something. I have so many, my signature sign is Sagittarius. Even though my sun is in Scorpio, my signature sign is in Sagittarius. That means my chart mainly is a bunch of Sagittarius, okay? A lot of my personal planets are in Sagittarius. And I have firsthand learned the lesson of what it means to always be looking for that peak or that experience, right? You always looking for an experience. You always saying yes. You always being a opportunist and wanting to ride on every plane that opens its door up for you to ride on. What I need you to understand is one bad experience has the potential, without using the proper discernment, has the potential to shift your entire life. It'll make you wiser. I'll tell you that much. It'll initiate you if you allow it through the flame. But at the end of the day, you want to be discerning, and you definitely want to surround yourself with people who are giving you the knowledge, the wisdom around being in relationship with the masculine and feminine energy. And so ultimately, you guys, you are your masculine, you are your feminine. You are these two beings within you. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you can stop getting into these retarded, like overpopulated circles of people who just complain about the opposite sex all day. It's like, why don't you just go and be homosexual and call it a day? But you don't want to do that, because you know deep down you want that balance. You know deep down that you want to merge with, you know, your opposite sex, your twin flame. You know deep down that that's what you want. So you're just having a lot of resistance in getting there. And so I want you guys to release that resistance. I want you guys to be accepting of the beauty and the flower that is you, and start embracing those parts of you. You know, for the masculine, it's time for you to start embracing feminine energy. And a lot of y'all think feminine energy is looking pretty, dressing pretty, seductively, whatever, and that's it. And I've got to tell you, that's not it. It's not just about looking pretty. It's not just about being emotional. It's a lot deeper than that. It's about knowing how to nurture. It's about being in tune with the subtleties of life. It's about being able to communicate with the other realm, with spirit. It's about being able to connect to the other beings in past lives and people who are going to come through us, through our womb. It's so much deeper than that. And I've got to also say that a lot of women ain't even in tune with that energy. So I don't blame you guys for having a hard time with this. But what I also want to say is a lot of y'all are attracted to bad bitches. And that's where you fall short at. A lot of y'all are attracted to bad bitches. I was having a real good conversation on the phone one day, talking to a friend of the family, and he was like, man, I don't know what it is, but I'm just attracted to bad bitches, and it just never go the way I want it to go, because he was on this journey of self-discovery and she wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of y'all want something, but you keep being attracted to that thing that is not really essentially what you want. And on the flip side, a lot of y'all are attracting the something that you need, but you want them to be other than what you know that you need. Like it's so weird, you know, it's so weird. It's like when you get that thing, you don't know what to do with it. When you attract, you keep choosing bad bitches, right? But you don't know how to have the strength or disconnect from that frequency. Basically just like a lesson that masculine frequency needs to learn. And then, you know, on the flip side, for feminine energy, a lot of women are attracted to, you know, or still seeking for a man to, I would say, control her. It's weird. It's like you know you don't want a man to control you, yet you're giving him the reins to be able to do that. Like you're hopping into relationships like super fast. You're doing all this stuff for this guy. He hasn't really done anything. You just become a like a little puppy, you know? And then when that scenario ends up happening, you're like, how did this happen? Because you literally gave him the keys to your car. That's how that happened. Okay? And you know, on the flip side of that, there's also women who know what they want. They know that they want to be feminine. Basically, they know what they want. They know that they want to get it, but they're having a lot of issues connecting and being present in their feminine energy and connecting to that masculine energy. So it's kind of like for the feminine energy, they just become super passive and they're like, oh, controlled by life. They don't say that out loud, but it's like, you know, you believe everything he says, you listen to everything he does, you're just too passive. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you're like, you're too distant, you're too good, you become a little too intimidating because you feel like you can't text a man first, you feel like you can't initiate, you feel like you can't act on your impulses, you can't act on your passions because that would be, you know, too masculine. So that's where the balance need be there. So yeah, I hope this video really gave you guys some clarity on this yin and yang topic. It was definitely something that was inspired for me to do like in the moment, and I just decided to do it. And yeah, so while I'm on the subject of this video, make sure you guys check out my new 7-day course called the 7 Commandments of Love. I went through 7-day program in like the beginning, actually like the middle to end of February. It was in my Facebook group. I hosted a 7-day program, and in the program, every single day for 7 days, we went through every commandment of love. Okay, this 7 commandments of love has helped the women that were in my Facebook group. So I know for sure if you were to purchase this course that it will help you understand your divine feminine energy at a much deeper level, and you'll just be able to function a lot more easily. I know there's a lot of information out there about divine feminine energy, how to be divine feminine, blah, 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 blah. It's a bunch of whoosh wash, okay? This 7-day program actually gives you practical and merged with spiritual guide to understanding yourself as a woman and how you should be utilizing your divine feminine energy to reap the most benefit. Okay, so yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I will catch you all in the next video.